Hello everybody, it's Mrs. Rich again. We're going to talk today about the final nonfiction text structure, which is problem and solution. So in this type of structure, the author is presenting a specific problem. For example, we're going to be reading an article about the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Its problem, well, it's going to fall down. So the article also presents several different options or solutions to saving the tower. So for example, a solution might be attach steel cables to the tower and attach other weights. Some solutions that were not accepted would be freeze the ground under the tower or hitch a car to the tower and pull it straight. When we look at the actual article, I'm going to be highlighting some of those signal words that will tell you that this is a problem solution structure. So the article we're going to be looking at is called Stopping a Toppling Tower by Mary Kay Carson. And it talks about the Leaning Tower of Pisa in Italy. And for years and years and years, it's been tilting a fraction of an inch farther and farther. And the fear is that it's eventually going to collapse to the ground. So what they're looking at now are different ways to save the tower without making it stand up straight. So let's look at the introduction. I'm going to read this and see if we can find any words that will help us highlight the signal words for problem solution. It's amazing but true that the tower has been tilted ever since it was built more than 900 years ago. The problem is that each year it leans a tiny bit more. So in this sentence you actually hear the problem is. The building's no longer safe. It had to be closed to visitors. So that would be considered a solution. For years, engineers and scientists have been thinking about how to stop the tower from falling over. After considering many ideas, they agreed on a possible solution. So here they're actually using the word solution. In 1998, engineers started work to save the landmark. The next part of this article, it highlights the actual problem in 4 steps. It's tall and skinny, it's hard to balance, it has a small foundation, it's built on soft sand and clay, so that's really not very conducive to building a strong structure. It's starting to sink because it's in soft soil, and the more it leans, the more of its weight rests on its lower side. So this is giving all of the reasons it has a problem. And this page is the solution. It actually uses the phrase, the solution. So, and not only does it give it a solution, but it kind of does it in a chronological order. First, workers wrapped steel cables around the tower. The cables were heavy ropes made of steel wire. Workers hooked the ends of the cables to heavy weights. If the tower started to topple, the cables would hold it up. Then, that would be step 2. The workers started to dig under the high side of the tower, the right side in the photo. They slowly and carefully took away some of the soil. They hoped that the tower would sink a little on that side. It did by 1 inch. That may not sound like much, but it was enough to make the tower straighter. So that's the solution. There are 3 steps to the solution. But you'll also notice that in the bottom, in the black box, it says people have sent hundreds of tower fixing ideas to the Italian government. And why do you think these were rejected? So the one we mentioned earlier, they could freeze the ground. Well, this is Italy, and unless you're in northern Italy, it's a pretty hot climate. Or we could slice off the top to make the tower lighter. Well, it's a historical monument, so that's a no-go. Hitch your car to the tower and pull the tower straight. I'm guessing my Honda CR-V doesn't have the horsepower to do that. Or stuff rice and beans under the low side. When the foods absorb water, they will swell and push up the tower. They are also biodegradable, so they won't last more than a few hours. So in a problem solution article, you were looking for words like the challenge, the problem, the solution, the result, things like that. So this one's pretty easy. So what we're going to look at next in your assignment on Google Classroom is a series of short passages that you'll need to decide what structure is being used.